Hello and welcome back. Let's talk about time, the one resource we all have in equal measure. But why does it seem like some people accomplish more than in a day than others do in a week? For business owners, time is more than just money. It's the foundation of success. So you're balancing strategy, sales, team management, customer service, and 100 other things. But here's the secret. Effective time management is not just about checking tasks off a to-do list. It's actually a science. So understanding this science rooted in psychology, neuroscience, and organizational behavior can help you optimize productivity, reduce stress, and achieve your goals. So in this lesson, we'll dive deep into the science behind time management and give you practical, actionable strategies to make the most of your time. Here's the first step. The first step in mastering time management is understanding how our brains perceive time. So scientists call this time perspective a psychological concept that explains how people view time differently. Some are like future-oriented, always thinking about long-term goals, planning, and strategizing. While others are present-oriented, focused on immediate tasks and day-to-day operations. So neither perspective is wrong. But as a business owner, you need both. If you are too future-focused, you may spend all your time planning and never executing. If you're too present-focused, you might get caught up in daily tasks without thinking about long-term growth. So take a moment to reflect. Are you more of a long-term planner? Or do you tend to work on things as they come? Recognizing your natural time perspective will help you adjust your habits for better balance. Now let's talk about working smarter, not harder. So the Pareto principle, also known as 80-20 rule, states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. So for example, say 80% of your revenue likely comes from 20% of your customers, while 80% of your productivity comes from 20% of your tasks. So what does this mean for you? So it means not all tasks are created equal. Some activities move the needle more than the others. Your job is to identify those high impact activities and focus your time on them. So as an action step, conduct a time audit. Track your daily activities for a week and analyze which tasks bring most the value. Once you know where your time is best spent, delegate or eliminate the rest. Alright, so one of the biggest reasons business owners feel overwhelmed is poor prioritization. We often confuse urgent tasks with important ones, but not everything urgent is important. This is where the Eisenhower matrix comes in. So in the diagram, it's a 4 quadrants, which is first is urgent and important, so these need immediate attention. Examples like a major client issue or a missed tax deadline. Second is important but not urgent. So this should be scheduled, like strategic planning, marketing initiatives, or employee training. Third is urgent but not important. So these things should be delegated, like routine emails, low priority meetings. And then fourth is not urgent and not important. So these things should be eliminated, like mindless social media scrolling or unnecessary busy work. As an action step, at the start of each day, try to categorize your tasks using this matrix. Focused on quadrant 2, which is important but not urgent, because that's where real progress happens. Alright, so let's now talk about the neuroscience of attention. Do you know that time management isn't just about managing your schedule? It's actually about managing your attention. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision making, can only handle a limited amount of information at once. That's why multitasking is a myth. Studies show that when you switch between tasks, your brain takes time to refocus. This is called attention residue. Constant task switching leads to mistakes, mental fatigue, and lower productivity. So the solution, single tasking. Focus on one thing at a time for deep, high-quality work. A great technique for this is the Pomodoro technique. Say, work in 25-minute focus sprints, then take a 5-minute break. So after 4 cycles of that, then take a longer break. So this method trains your brain to focus intensely while preventing burnout. Let's now talk about procrastination. This is the silent killer of productivity. We often think procrastination is about laziness, but psychology tells it's actually about emotional regulation. You procrastinate because a task feels overwhelming or boring or stressful. What's the fix? Break big tasks into smaller bite-sized steps. This reduces the mental resistance to starting. Second is use time blocking. Schedule specific blocks of time for deep work, making it easier to commit. And then third is create accountability. If you struggle with self-discipline, find an accountability partner to check in with you. Next is the use of technology. Technology can either be a productive booster or a massive distraction. The key is using the right tools. Here are some of the best tools for business owners. For project management, we have Trello, Asana, Notion, Airtable, or Monday.com to keep your team organized. For time tracking, we have Toggle or Rescue Time to analyze where your time is going. For automation, use Zapier or AI tools to eliminate repetitive tasks like invoicing or social media posting. One pro tip is set your focus mode on your phone and disable non-essential notifications during work hours. So, let's talk about aligning time management with your personality. Not all time management strategies work for everyone. Why? Because we all have different personalities. For example, if you're high in conscientiousness, you might love strict schedules. If you're more spontaneous, you may thrive in a flexible workflow. As an action step, identify your natural work style and choose time management methods that align with your strengths. And then lastly, let's bust the myth that working longer means working better. So research shows that chronic overwork leads to burnout, decision fatigue, and lower productivity. As an action step, prioritize sleep, at least 7 hours per night to boost cognitive function. Take short pauses so that it increases your long-term focus. And then, of course, work-life balance. Time off actually increases work efficiency. So time management isn't just about doing more. It's about doing what truly matters. So start implementing these science-backed strategies. Experiment with what works for you. And take control of your time like a CEO. Now, let's move on to the next lesson and start prioritizing like a CEO.